You are comfortably zoned with the Zigzag Man in Alameda, California, pushing on the doors of life marked pull and fighting the unholy trinity as we go. Big business, organized religion, and government.
I am back, and you are comfortably zoned with me, the Zigzag Man, Ralph Tyko, from Alameda, California, joined by today by the lovely and provocative one, Becky, Rebecca Ward Kennedy. How are you?
I'm doing great. I'm just enjoying the beautiful San Francisco weather today. And
yeah, you're in San Francisco, I'm in Alameda, and if it's pretty and if it's nice in San Francisco, it's nice all over the world. Yeah. And it has been for all these many months. We have an Indian summer going again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and
we've hardly even had any fog. Yeah.
Yeah, kind of nice. You live in an area where it could be on one half of your house it could be sunny, and the other half of your house could be foggy. Am I right?
Yeah. Yeah. The last foggy day we had, I could see sun coming through my bedroom window, and I thought, oh, it's going to be a nice day. Then I go to my front room window, and I could not see across the street. It is that extreme in this neighborhood.
Yeah, that's how San Francisco is. I'm in the East Bay across the bridge, and the weather is more delightful, I must say. And
I've always liked Alameda. Yeah. Alameda is really nice. And you know, as far as Bay Area housing prices go, Alameda is fairly reasonable as far, as your average. Well,
that's creeping up slowly but surely, and we have a mayoral election coming up, so the woman who is the incumbent is in bed with all the developers and the landlords and what have you. So if there's ever going to be any sort of hope for rent control, we need to elect Tricia Spencer. And so vote early, vote often in Alameda for one of my favorite human beings, and certainly my favorite candidate. And hey, I want to thank you over the years for just adding your presence to these microphones. As you know, it's been keeping all this going has been harrowing, and I just like it when you come back. I remember some of my favorite episodes were when we played our favorite rock and roll songs to each other when you were co-hosting one day. That was kind of fun.
I've got some friends that do radio shows, and I always have a great time on any of the shows that I go on. It's really nice.
Right. You were on Danny's show. Tell me about that experience. That's on.
My Danny Dutchie. We co-host a radio show called Radio Haha every Thursday afternoon from 4 to 6, and we have other comedians on. This past week, Emo Phillips called into our radio show, and we got to talk to him for about 10 minutes. He was in.
Oh wow! I think I had a pair of his glasses once. Yeah, he's a very funny guy. That's good producing. How'd you get him to call in?
Well, what happened was I went to see him the previous night with my friend Fred Lazarus. I got really, really discount tickets to go see Emo Phillips, and we went and we sat in the front row, and I'm not really friends with Emo Phillips, but I meet with him when he comes to town, and he saw me sitting in the front row, and he goes, "Oh, there's my friend Rebecca. I've talked to Rebecca many times before." And then after the show, I gave him the number to call the Radio Haha show, and he called in the next day and was just very nice, and he's just really a great guy, to somebody that big call into a local San Francisco show. It was really nice.
Well, to give you guys credit, you're one of the best podcast radio shows in existence. You're in San Francisco, and it's a credit to him that he had the good taste to call you show, or it's a credit to him that you guys put him on the show.
Mm-hmm,
put it that way. Danny is terrific. He's a terrific host, and he's one of the reasons I still do podcast radio is that he just it was an influence to me right from the start in terms of taking the show seriously, but not too seriously, and have fun with it. And he's a very cool guy, and he's been a big help to me over the years in the comedy world, getting back into the comedy world, and meeting a bunch of comedians like your dear old self. We started out a long time ago, 28 years ago, at
least.
Emerson's in Palo Alto, and it was a Rose and Thistle up in San Francisco, and the Holy City Zoo, and all that. Do you have any memories that you want to share with us that you haven't before on our airways about those days, good, bad, or indifferent?
Just that it's really nice to still be in contact with a lot of people that I became friends with all those years ago. You know, Mickey Joseph is back in town. Mickey came to one of Danny's showcases about a week or two ago, and I hadn't seen Mickey in like more than 10 years, so it was, just really nice to reconnect with him and see how he's doing, and he's a grandpa, and he's back from doing his Rat Pack thing, and
he was in the Rat Pack. They have a Rat Pack, a bunch of, what do they call it, a cover band, and a cover group, cover show that they did. He played Joey Bishop, Joey, and son of a gun. Yeah. And he was in that for like the 10 years that you haven't seen him, probably. And I wonder if he's moved back up here from Vegas.
I'm pretty sure he must be if he's finished his run in Vegas. He's probably going to start living in the Bay Area again. And I know he was going to do the Throckmorton sometime in the last week or so. So he sounds like he's moved himself back towards here. I don't know if he's like officially moved or he's in the process of moving, but it sounds like he's putting his roots back down around here. And
real nice. He's a very, very nice guy who is always good, like yourself, always good to the other comedians around, and very supportive guy.
Yeah, I think my favorite memories of way back then are how nice all Bay Area, there's a few exceptions, but basically, especially open micers, just very nice to each other. I started doing comedy. I didn't have a car, and comedians everybody would give each other rides. If you were heading the same way somebody else was going, people were just wonderful about giving rides to each other. I would take a bus all the way from like Sunnyvale up to San Francisco to do a 5-minute set, and afterwards I'd be like, okay, I got to take. And if somebody was heading one time Edie Matthews, I knew she was heading back south, and she just gave me a ride back home. It saved me more than an hour of traveling.
I will say one thing. There's an excellent bus system, bus, BART, this and that. It really is good, and you can get anywhere you want to go. But it's going to take you some time. It's not like New York City where all you have to do is light a cigarette and the bus comes, which is the automatic signal. Buses are few and far between. There's some horrible planning as to transportation in the Bay Area. There are zillion cars on the road. There's rush hour traffic going on all the time. And it's not just the big cities. Our little hamlet in Alameda is blessed with becoming the new Emeryville. We're like a parking lot. Getting in and out of here in the morning, and there's 4 bridges and a tunnel, and they're all clogged up, and the current mayor is into more development, and the person who's running against her is simply not, and it's going to be very interesting. She's running a great grassroots campaign to the 1%ers. She's not taking money from the developers and the unions, and all she's doing is taking local contributions from the people. And I can't tell you how that's appreciated in Alameda. So
really
if I keep interrupting the train of thought, going back to politics locally, it's the first time I've ever been involved in local politics, and I made a study of both candidates, and I've talked on the air, like I say, with Trish and with one of Mayor Gilmore's supporters, and I've debated both sides with both people. Really, they've been very open, and it's cool as hell. You got to take an interest, because what can we do state-wise and government-wise, politics? But we can make a difference in the city that we live in, and so I'm taking pride in having done that recently. And do you, dear lady, do you have any hopes for the upcoming election, one way or the other?
I still need to read up on the issues. Since I moved into the apartment that I'm in after being divorced, my ex-husband has been hanging on to my mail at the other place, so I haven't gotten a voter guide. He's been withholding my mail and not... I think withholding mail is like a federal offense, but I need to put in like an official change of address form to make sure I start. So
if you do that first, then that would eliminate the problem whatsoever and not have to worry about federal offenses.
Yeah,
because,
I was just kind of joking, but
that might be a good idea, and so you guys don't have to cross unnecessarily as divorced people, separated people. Sometimes it just doesn't work, and you got to make the best of it, especially for the kids. You got 3 wonderful kids together. Anything that Adam is doing now, Adam is into film, and
he's doing great. He's got a full-time job right now, and I had breakfast with him this morning, and he told me, we were just talking about taxes, and I said, so what do you think your income's going to be this year? Turns out he's going to make more money at his job as a 22-year-old than I am getting in support. So my son is his income is like twice mine, or more than mine right now. And me being like twice as big, he's just doing so great. And he did this wonderful, wonderful thing for my mom. On top of doing his full-time job, he's working like 50 hours.
Hey, your mom's been sick and she's recovering. Let's wish her the best on these airways.
And the last time that Adam came to visit my place, my mom had way too many cats, and so Adam he filmed some of the cats. And right before I went to visit my mom, Adam made like this 3-minute video showcasing all of her cats and putting a nice song behind it. And so I took the DVD with me to show my mom, and my mom was she was just so happy to see this wonderful video that Adam put together for her. He was just he's just a great kid. He's really sweet. And,
well. We got sirens going off. The fire department's coming. It could be because you're so hot, Becky. What do you think?
Could be what?
I said we got fire engines going off in the background of our 420 studios, and I thought it could be because you're so hot. What do you think?
Well, I don't know. We had some engines going past here, so maybe they were on their way to Alameda.
Oh, okay. That could have been it. All right. What you got going coming up comedy-wise in the near future?
Well, let's see. I'm always going to a lot of the showcases that Danny Detchy does. Every Tuesday, usually every Tuesday, I'm at a place called Neck of the Woods. It's next to the Old Holy City Zoo. It's at 406 Clement. That show is every Tuesday night. And then every second and fourth Thursday is a place called Emma's Coffee Shop. It's really nice. It's at the corner of 20.
Be a talent scout for the show. Who's coming up? Who that is real new to comedy that you're seeing at these open mics and these showcases that you're back into doing? Who do you see as somebody that really impresses you with their humor and their stage presence and their ability to do a tight 5 minutes or 15 minutes or host, or who do you think is up and coming?
Well, there's a really good, he's very young looking. I want to call him a kid. His name's Ashton Tate. He's very funny. And a guy named Mike Miller. He's really good. And let's see, a guy named, David Studebaker. I almost lost his name. He opened for Emo Phillips, and I've seen him at some of the open mics. His name's David Studebaker. He's really funny. Guy named Ron Vi. He was middling for Emo. Let's see. You know, a lot of people, I will see them and then just completely forget their name afterward. But then when I see them again and I hear their name, I go, oh, yeah, that's right. That's that person's name. But pretty much just go to a lot of, these showcases, like the Emma's Coffee Shop at 20th and Gary every other Thursday. And you'll see a lot of really, really good comedy. And
all right, let me give a plug to my dear friend Meredith Godfrey, who does an open mic way out in the avenues on 16th and Geary. Do you know what I'm talking about? And
I've been there, but I thought it was 11th and Geary.
Oh, it is 11th and Geary, and believe it or not, I blank on the name of the place. But she has...
Hearth. It's called Ray's Hearth.
Ray's Hearth. Oh, yeah, Hearth.
Hearth.
Yes. Yeah. I should remember, but I've got the old guy's disease. I forget stuff. It's unbelievable how I could remember Willie Mays playing center field in 1951, and everybody in the lineup, and I can't remember yesterday, and I can't remember things that I blank on. I don't know if I'm smoking too much dope, maybe not enough dope. Am I one toke over the line? Am I 150 tokes over the line? I don't know, but I don't know how I blanked on that, but I certainly didn't blank on Meredith. So that's as good an open mic as I've ever seen in San Francisco. And she's about into the third or fourth year of running it. Yeah. I think it's the first Friday or Saturday of every month.
It's the second.
And that's a great place. So here's a plug for Mary. And thank you. Thanks for giving me an interview. Thanks for coming back to the microphones.
Oh, yeah.
I wish your mom the best. I wish you were getting more support from your significant mother in terms of taking care of her or your ex-significant mother.
Mm-hmm.
To make it easy on you. It's tough being a mom. It's tough being a single mom. I reversed roles. I was the stay-at-home mom, stay-at-home parent for a long time. I wasn't quite a mom. I didn't have that role quite down yet. But so I know what it's like, and I know what you've gone through, and I'm proud of you for bucking up and keeping on. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. It's a challenge, but I'm up to it. I'm getting stronger every day.
That's all we can do is go day to day and get stronger. And you mentioned going to see MO with Freddie Lazarus, who's a mutual friend of ours. I'll have you know, and another great guy in comedy. Who's been on this show before. I'm blessed to have you guys in my life, and
Fred and I, we get together and we talk about our exes. That's what we use each other for a lot, is just to talk about our exes at each other.
Well, I didn't know Freddie had an ex.
Yeah, it's good to have somebody that's going through what you're going. His was an ex-girlfriend, but we go, oh, let me tell you what mine just did.
Oh, yeah, well, it's never easy, but
yeah.
There's always a way of completing it and going on down the line, and it makes it an awful lot easier.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
You get to that point. And I wish you the best in doing that.
Yeah.
And I will implore you, as I do all my guests and listeners on virtually every segment that I do, to keep your dreams wet, keep your humor dry, keep your children out of military recruiting offices.
Mm-hmm.
Very bad.
Mm-hmm.
Very, very bad. Don't have your kid used as fodder. These wars don't mean anything to anybody except the imperialistic bastards who are profiting from it. And keep your kids off the laps of clerics wearing dresses.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, not all of them. Some of them are great people, but enough of them aren't that if you're looking for daycare, you might pick up the Yellow Pages. I mean, and try to avoid catechism. Wherever you are, don't leave your kids alone for a moment with these people. It's a boys' club. It's a little boys' club. And for the most part, your children are in danger of being in their company. What goes on unreported, what goes on as cover-ups in the Catholic Church is amazing. And it just hit me. I found this out yesterday. Bear with me, because you're always good at keeping my blood pressure down when I start ranting. Are you still with me, dear?
Oh, yeah, I'm here, yep.
All right. You got to soothe me on this one. I live in Alameda. There's a big church, St. Joe's, right? They've got a school. They got businesses, which, as we all know, are tax-free. They own a lot of property, and they rent it out in what they call the Gold District. In Alameda, they have like 4, 5, 10 maybe storefront businesses that they rent out. And the Catholic Church, that pays no taxes to the city of Alameda, recently took a grant from the city of Alameda to upgrade their storefronts. You ready for that? They take a grant and they don't pay taxes from Alameda, and not everybody who applied, not every business person who applied for these grants got them, but they did. Now, I find that to be horrible.
Yeah,
but that wasn't the only thing I found out. Okay? A while back, the Catholic Church, where they are, by the school, has the city put up an elaborate barrier to keep traffic from going in to the area, while presumably to keep parents from double parking when they're leaving their kids at their school.
Oh.
Right? So, which is okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, city spent a lot of money on that. It's okay. But why didn't they spend a lot of money on elaborate barriers for a lot of the other schools where there are in any of the other schools in Alameda, the public schools, where we're suffering from the same problem? That's not what got my goat. What got my goat is that they marked off this property, right? It's city property, and you can't have cars go. They, on sunny days, more than occasionally, have their church services, not picnics, not group get-togethers, but they have their church services in this, right, in the sun, in the unmarked, in the area where no traffic could come. They go out and sit in the sun on city property and have church services. It's not the first time they've crossed the barrier between church and state in the city. You may remember that I am in the process and have been for 2 years now going through my eventual lawsuit against the city for crossing that same church-state barrier when they did the city of Alameda, one of these holy roller churches, this wasn't the Catholic Church, to have a church service in the public park. In Washington Park, the biggest park in Alameda, Upper Washington Park, by the swings where the little kids play, right in the middle there. They permit a church service on a Sunday. I'm walking with my coffee. I couldn't believe it. I went up there. They're praying and singing songs and stuff. Nice people. Are you permanent? Yes, we are, they tell me. So I go right to the mayor the next day. The mayor says, oh, how could that be? You must be mistaken. Why don't you go over to the Parks Department office, which is down the block, and speak to this woman, head of the Parks Department, and she'll tell you that, and she'll talk to you. We don't do the permitting, they do. So I went down there. The woman wasn't there, the woman that they told me to speak to, but a nice secretary was there, and she said, oh, permanent, yes, let's see. And she opens the book and shows me that, yes, indeed, they were permanent. Okay, so I go back to the mayor, and never did get to speak to the mayor, but I spoke to her frumpy middle-aged assistant, who lied to me 2 or 3 times and sent me on these runarounds, then sends me to the city manager with the same complaint. So she said, well, the city manager handles that, blah, blah, blah. So I go down to the city manager. I said, you're open to a lawsuit here. This is separation of church and state, and I don't want anything. All I want is a written apology in the newspaper, and we'll never do it again. And right out of whoa, that would establish precedent.
Wow.
So I said, in other words, you establishing precedent when you were wrong to permit it, and I saw it, you did, is wrong. Well, we'll send you an email. We'll send you our response. And sure enough, they did a few weeks later. And what it said basically was a whole bunch of mumbo-jumbo about what is separation of church and state and how it's going to the Supreme Court, blah, 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 blah. And right in the middle, they pasted in a paragraph, and besides, Mr. Tyko, we never permitted the church in the first place.
Wow, everybody's got different information.
So the woman who wrote it was an assistant to the city manager, and she probably didn't know that I had gone and seen the books and told them that I went and saw the books.
Wow.
So, and that is the regime that we are under, the dishonest regime of Mayor Gilmore, who screwed the city immensely by dealing with SunCal, the developers out on the west, took all on the west side of the town where the Navy base used to be. The Navy base turned it over to the city, and they wanted to sell this property to the developers, and they still haven't cleaned it up of toxic waste.
Yeah.
And the thing fell through, and you have to know how much these people are being supported by big business, be it their campaigns or whatever, being supported by the developers. So there it is. That got my blood pressure down, just that I was able to be cathartic with my thoughts by getting them out and being cathartic. And for that, I thank you. You are always there to listen, Rebecca, which is a good thing, huh?
Yeah, I think that's a good quality in being a mom too. Is just being able to listen to. Sometimes kids they my kids anyway, they just want to have somebody listening and saying, "Oh, yeah, I can see how that's upsetting you," or I can understand why that kind of thing bothers you.
So can I'll call you Nurse Ratchet. Can I do that? You could be
sure.
my personal Nurse Ratchet.
Sure.
I got a little cuckoo's nest going here.
Yeah.
All right, dear. That's my show for the day. I'm sorry to interrupt the flow of things with my craziness, but what goes on in this here world, it makes me crazy go nuts for a lot of reasons. We're doing it wrong, and it should be better. It should be a better world for all of us. Mm-hmm. And I think it would be a better world if all churches, synagogues, and mosques lost their tax exemption status, and with the property taxes and the taxes that would come in from the businesses that they run, because they're all a big old business, we could have enough money to feed the hungry and educate the curious. And if there's a few dollars left over, maybe we could send them over to Africa and buy some rubbers and stop the spread of AIDS.
Yeah, that's one thing that the church I go to, it's not a Catholic church, but...
oh, no, see, because, you know why? Because they're a liberal church, and they're a small church, and they're a good church, and we've talked about the support you get from them, and there are churches all over that are that way. And any umbrage that I take with organized religion, I'm not taking it with the people, I'm taking it with the hierarchy of the churches. Mm-hmm. Now, whether or not the church that you go to damages people in other ways, whether or not they think that homosexuality, for instance, is a horrible sin, or whether or not they think that the man in the moon hung cheese, it doesn't matter. There's something about the basic Christianity that is wonderful and good if you follow the teachings of Christ. A Jewish rabbi who got a little over his skis, you might say. But if you just go with that and forget that abracadabra magical stuff, I can see good in it. But you don't need a tax exemption to just worship and say everything's cool. There you go. Let's keep the business out of the churches, and thank you for being comfortably zoned, where we fight the unholy Trinity and talk to interesting people along the way. Thanks for the scouting you're doing on the comedians. That really helps, because people out there, if you want to go see a good show, you can look in the paper and see if any of those 4 or 5 people that you mentioned. It's fun to follow people along the way who are coming up. Remember some of the people that we started with, that and how they made it big, and how cool that is when they do come back and visit. And nice to be able to say you knew them when. Yeah. So go out and support the comedy scene. Go catch Rebecca at one of these shows. You got a wonderful, dry sense of humor, and I'm glad you're back doing comedy.
Yeah, me too. I really enjoy it. And go Giants.
Yes, it's coming up in a few minutes. Absolutely. We got the 7th game of the World Series coming up. Yeah. And I got to admit, I was a Giant fan as a kid. They left. I was mad for a long time. Mm-hmm. At heart, I'm a Met fan now, but I'm looking back and seeing how their histories really coincide. A lot of the players and coaches that a lot of the manager, for instance, Al Dark, when they came here in '62 and they won the pennant, and all of his coaching staff were ex-New York Giants. And so I always have a place in my heart for them. I've been a Giant apologist for a long time, and I hope they win, because if they don't win, it's Kansas City, and if Kansas City wins, then Wilbur Harrison is happy, among other people. I don't know anybody, too many people from Kansas City. But you do remember Wilbur Harrison, right? He may take a plane and he may take a train.
I think I've heard that, but I can't remember where I heard
but if he has to walk, he can get there just the same. He's going to Kansas City. Kansas City, here he go. All right, see you back.
Okay.
And to all of you out there, keep on keeping on.
Okay, all right, thanks. I'll talk to you later. Talk to you soon.
See you next time, dear.
Okay, all right, bye-bye. Bye.
Bye.